Welcome once again. It is December 5th again, and I'm going to go ahead and just keep on rolling here on this next video. Because I wanted to give you a heads up on some of the Clearlake baits that I use that have proven highly successful over the years in fishing and catching Clearlake bass, big Clearlake bass. Okay, so I'm going to just show a few of these. Clearlake, unfortunately, as we talked about earlier on one of the other videos, is not very clear. Okay? Clearlake is a misnomer. Very little clarity in Clearlake. Okay? So suffice it to say, it behooves us when we're fishing Clearlake, believe it or not, to fish darker colors for the most part, darker colors, and chartreuse tails. So if you're going to do grub fishing, and I have a Clearlake grub box that I take with me, the Clearlake grub box, I like fishing curltail grubs. Proven that, right? They're inexpensive. You can buy a lot of them at once. You can fish all day on a 10 or 15 pack normally, at least 3, 4, 5 hours worth of fishing on a 10 or 15 pack. And they don't cost you an arm and a leg, right? It costs you about, in fact, I just paid $15 for this full package of Mother's Finest brown curltail chartreuse salted grubs, hand poured. Mother's Finest grubs here out of Phil's Propeller here in Redding, Shasta Lake, California. This is a hand pour company out of Redding. The gentleman does a fantastic job in these little hand pours. I'm going to show you a couple of my favorites for Clearlake. These also work at Shasta, no doubt about it. They're not as rapid spinning as far as the curltail goes, so they're not as propeller-like when they're moving through the water. But the softness and the saltiness of these grubs outweighs some of the problems that you might have with the action. It's a pretty good propeller tail, though, still. Also hand-poured, extremely soft, and as you can see probably in the picture here, that's salt. And I'll tell you what, it's salt impregnated all the way down, all right? This one happens to be a brown-green, kind of with a blue tint grub, 3-inch, 2.5, 3-inch, with a chartreuse curltail. Again, Mother's Finest is the name of the company, all right? I think it's a one-guy deal. Hand pours his own. Fantastic, okay? Here's the same jig head I use at Shasta for the most part. I do fish sometimes in Clearlake with a 1/0 or a 2/0 hook with the 1/8 ounce head. I fish mostly in the Nice, Lucerne, Lakeport, Kelseyville end of the lake. Okay, I do not fish very often at the Clearlake, Canocti, Clearlake Oaks end. I don't do it very often. That's just the way it is, okay? I grew up and lived on the Kelseyville side, so I know that part of the lake better. Shallower, so you can really fish these anywhere in that end of the lake. So this one is a salt and pepper curltail, chartreuse curltail grub. Also a Mother's Finest on my good old #1 red hook with the 1/8 ounce bullet head, dart head, however you want to call it. So there's two of my favorite lures. Third one again is this brown, the bag of brown as I'm showing. It's a brown salt and pepper with a chartreuse curltail. And Mother's Finest, $15 for 50. That'll last you a while, man. That'll last you a season. A pretty good season. And again, I'm not saying that this will catch the biggest fish in the world, but you know, and a lot of guys also throw 7-8 foot rods, stiff as a telephone pole. They'll throw lures as big as some of the bass I catch at Shasta Lake and try to go after the monsters at Clear Lake. Hey, go for it. Go for it. It's a definite probability that in the right time of year, January, February, March, a nice day, you could drag up a 8, 9, 10-pound bass out of Shasta. I mean, not Clear Lake. Shasta too, but Clear Lake a lot more often. Okay? Again, we talked about it before. A lot of times a 30-pound bag of 5 fish, which is a 6-pound average, is what it took to even get close to the money on Clear Lake, going back a couple of years. That's insane, the size of those fish. Okay? But I'm going for quantity with an occasional quality built in. I like fighting the thing. I don't like, horsing them in. You see them on the bass fishing shows and FLW, they'll horse the fish in and lift them out of the water, and they're sweating bullets and they're crying and everything. No, I'm not there. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? That's why they make their money and earn their living. I'm out for recreation. Okay? And I want you to enjoy your recreational time as well. We'll cover the Clear Lake rods in a following video. I do not use the little 6-foot medium with the quick tip Shakespeare's. I do not use those rods at Clear Lake, okay? Because you're fighting a different animal. Spotted bass and smallmouth are a bass species, but they're a lot different than the Florida strain largemouth. The pigs, we call them, that live in Clear Lake. They're a whole different animal. And again, we'll talk about that in a following video. But suffice it to say that hopefully these videos will help you catch some fish. Okay, there is a pier in Lakeport, California, at the park. Right by one of the best restaurants in Lake County, right there in that edge of that park. And you can walk right out on this pier, get your rod and these lures and these dart heads, and you can catch some nice bass right off that pier. There are several piers and docks around Clear Lake. You can find them on a nice map. Kelseyville has a state park. It also has a county park in Kelseyville area. It's got several different places you can go where there's places along the shore you can walk. Be careful as to not trespassing on private property. Lakeport has several of these piers I was talking about, including that big one in Lakeport Park. And then Nice Lucerne, a lot of piers as well. Especially the launch ramp pier in Nice has a big walkway that goes out it's all wood. And let's face it, Clear Lake, that's for the most part on that northern end, I call it, of the lake. The fish equate themselves and live near or on wood pilings, wood walls. They use those as ambush points, and then have their babies anywhere they can find a good place to make a bed, which could include docks and ramps and wood walls. But then there's the Tules in Kelseyville end that provide cover and a great place to spawn as well. So between those Tules on the Kelseyville side, the docks, piers, pilings, wood walls, cement walls on the Lakeport and Nice Lucerne side, that gives you a lot of targets to go after, whether you're in a boat or whether you're walking shoreline. So anyway, have a good afternoon. Last video of the day. Be talking to you again soon. All right, take care. Joe Rodola signing off. Bye.